I'd like to thank Shane, Damien, I'd like to thank John, I'd like to thank Padder for very thoughtful, very insightful address to us. We all know that for anything to work, you need the will of the people. You and the people, if there are any questions you would like to ask any of the lads, I'm sure they'll be only too willing to do the very best that they can to give as direct and honest an answer as they can. Because the only way things will work for them is when they know exactly as foot soldiers what's happening on the ground and the feelings that are there. And there are times they'll tell us things we mightn't like to hear. And that's important that we learn to take that as well, and let's get on and make things happen, whatever way it is, for a better Ireland, better united Ireland. But most importantly, we're starting off with unity in our county to go forward and to open our doors and to open our hearts and to open our minds to make this a better Ireland and a better nation. I'd like to hand you over, please. Whoever cares to ask a question, I'm sure you're only too glad to ask them. Thank you very much. Sorry. What is it? Yeah, follow, yeah. Thanks.
All the politicians I know, even though I am in Dublin, I know where you are.
That's all right, thanks. Okay.
No, I'm just asking myself, would this meeting have taken place if there wasn't Brexit? Because, and I ask that because Brexit, I think, is not something that came about because of any particular major political party. In fact, I think it came from the lesser party in the UK who sort of built up momentum. But Brexit, when the vote came about, it threw up some extraordinary results. One of which was that the difference between republicanism and unionism just seemed to dissolve. And the more people in Northern Ireland wanting to be in Europe from both sides than those who wanted out of Europe. So I think because of what Brexit has done, made a meeting like this probably more likely. I think I'd be correct in that. I think another thing is I think there's a huge difference between unity and uniformity. We've done it here in the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, we're all Irish people, but there's quite a lot of difference. And it's coming out more and more and more, and we're still existing because there's no uniformity. I think there's quite a difference between unity and uniformity, and I think that's essential when our minds come around to seeing that we can be united. We're united by the fact that there's water all around all of us. We all, if you like, breathe the same air. We experience the same rain. As you said, the land is the same, north and south. So I'm just wondering, is it Brexit actually that makes this meeting possible?
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
It's a fair point. I think you're right. Certainly, it's forced us all to look at our relations, to look at options, to try to deal with how do you deal with a line on a map during the Brexit fallout and the negotiations with Europe. And I think I've been at 10 or 12 meetings here in the range of the last couple of weeks as a result of Brexit. So you're right in saying that, James, it has caused this debate to be fast-tracked and to be discussed more. I would say, though, I don't feel it's the right time to force the debate. And that's my only point I'm saying. And I think why read the most recent election and even the Brexit vote as a sign that you could win a vote for unity. And when I make the point that the majority plus one, that's fine, you might win it, and yes, the Good Friday Agreement says that, it says the majority, but that mightn't be sustainable, and it mightn't give the United Ireland we actually want. And I think it's the United people we want, that are willing to work together, educate ourselves together, treat ourselves for health together, and do all that together, and share our communities and develop together. And just winning the vote and having the United Ireland for the sake of it is just not always, in my view, the best way. I think prioritize people first through our relationships. And that's what's gone on over the last 20 years where our relationships, even among our own parties, but certainly North-South and ourselves and our colleagues in the UK. I was involved in the British Irish Parliamentary Party for a while. And this talking to guys who were there years before me, when they first came together, they wouldn't even look at each other. They barely sit in the same room and talk. And that's less than 20 years ago. And even that just a relationship building among all of us sets the ground for sustainable unification. And that's what I would say. It's not just, I would accept the wording of it as majority, but that doesn't always give you what we all want, in my view. And it's about timing. And Brexit, yes, it has a discussion, and I'm glad to be part of it. It's certainly forced me to be part of the discussion, and I'm happy with that. It's a discussion I want to be part of. But again, it's about how fast you want to move along.
Thanks, and I would, concur with a lot of what Damien said. I do think it's worth reminding, there's times we get very focused on this idea, the North didn't vote for Brexit. The North wasn't on the referendum, and the North isn't the member state of the European Union. It is the United Kingdom is the member state. The bit on my ballot paper when I went to vote last June was, should the United Kingdom remain a member of the European Union, or should the United Kingdom leave the European Union? So as a nation, as a collective nation, we voted to leave. Now, I accept your point, I think you alluded to it, around a host of reasons, particularly in places like the northeast of England and very working class areas that just were fed up with Europe. Northern Ireland also, back in the referendum in 1975, had the lowest percentage out of any part of the UK in favour of Europe. So Northern Ireland has never been particularly strong on Europe, and in unionism it's not good. I can tell you, even out as an Assembly candidate in 2016, European Union was not an easy sell, even in a demographic that I think that I thought it should have been, and particularly in farming circles, it was not an easy sell. But I think there is just too much going on in politics to think. I do take the point, this debate may not be happening, we're not for Brexit, but there's too much going on at the minute in politics to think, and I don't think it would naturally lead to a border. I don't think there's an inevitability about a united Ireland. I think we still need to focus on the many other things that we need to do to get right and make sure Brexit works for everybody, not just in Ireland, but the UK and Ireland as a whole, because there's too much at stake. Love or hate the UK, it is your largest trading partner. Ireland is the UK's 5th largest trading partner. We are interdependent, whether we like it or not. So we want to build on that and stay that. And the job of an Irish government is to make sure that Europe is realistic about a future relationship with the UK after we leave. Those things to me are way more important than a debate about Irish unity. And actually, Damien's point about building unity of people as much as what's the John Hume one, we can't eat a flag. That sort of bit is where we need to get. We have transformed relationships in the British-Irish dimension in the last 25 years from some amazing work done. Let's continue that.
See, if Britain leaves the EU and it leaves the customs union and it leaves the single market, it stuffs the Irish economy severely, and it will actually put the All-Ireland economy back on 20 or 30 years. So that's created a massive difficulty in the energy towards this debate, first and foremost. Then you also have a situation whereby I have a hunch that a lot of the establishment parties wouldn't talk about unity because Britain and Ireland are both equal members within the EU. But now that Britain's no longer in the EU, there isn't that difficulty there, because I found it really strange that like a couple of weeks after Brexit, we had people like Eamon Gilmore come out and say that he favoured Irish unity. It was just like people who would never have said those words at all were very comfortable in saying it straight after Britain decided to leave the EU. And I think that's a part of it. The other point, and I said it in my speech, and it's a really important point, there's no unionist majority in the North. There isn't a majority of people seeking to remain with the UK in a party political voting pattern. Now, that doesn't mean that today there would be a vote that would actually change the nature of the North's relationship with Britain. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that an opportunity exists where it didn't exist for the previous 90 years to try and to persuade many of those people, both in the centre who now don't identify themselves politically as unionists, or even people who would see themselves as progressive or liberal unionists who would have a very strong identification with Britain, but possibly could see themselves as being partners with the South in a new development into the future. And then there's the logic issue that, it is becoming so logical in the delivery of services, in the delivery of the economy, in Tourism Ireland saves money because it sells for the whole of the island of Ireland. The energy market is now an all-Ireland energy market because it's cheaper and more logical and more efficient to design your energy market in that fashion. And that replicates itself right across so many different areas. So the logic in your pocket means that unity is a better idea. Now, the issue of consent, John is right in that it didn't ask the question, should the North leave the EU? But consent has been a bedrock of the peace process for the last 40 years. Indeed, as an Irish Republican, we were getting the word consent shoved down our throats for 40, 50 years. We accepted it. And now the Tories are binning it. The fact that we are no longer the consent of the people of the North of Ireland is important in the decision of their future is quite shocking to me. So it's important that we do place consent essentially back into the future of the North.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for the question, Seamus. First of all, I suppose John has stated that on the ballot paper, what the people of Britain were asked was whether you stay within the United Kingdom in the context of your Brexit question or leave. And I would say the difference between the union that exists among the EU and the union that exists within the United Kingdom is quite different in that no treaty can be passed by the EU unless every member state agrees it. Whereas you have a situation with the Brexit vote whereby two nation states within the United Kingdom decided to remain, and yet they're in a position where they're going to leave. I think that's a point worth noting. Now, in terms of debates of Irish unity, one of the biggest debates of Irish unity happened in this country 19 years ago, when we had a decision in terms of the Good Friday Agreement. And that was a very significant decision for us all in the context of people who believed in an Irish Republic and the removal of Articles 2 and 3 from the Constitution, and whether you were going to have an advancement of Irish unity by actually deleting those articles. So there was a very significant debate in this country, a robust one in both parts of the island, in actually achieving for both sides where we wanted to go. And if you look in the 19 years since then, and the debates in terms of who's talking about Irish unity, that's not something you dip in or dip out of. That's happening all the time, and I disagree respectfully with Father on that. Indeed, in the wake of that decision in 1998, I remember hosting a debate downstairs in this hotel, where we invited Stephen King, who at the time was an advisor to the First Minister, and Martin Mansell, at the time was an advisor to the Taoiseach, and had a robust debate in terms of the implications then and the ramifications of that Good Friday Agreement. So I think that debates like tonight are debates that keep the issue alive and make sure that as a nation we actually want to seek to aspire. I disagree with John. I do believe Irish unity is inevitable. And I believe it's inevitable because if you even reflect on the absurd scenario, as John said, in terms of the lack of productivity, the fact that there's such an over-reliance on the public sector to create employment in the North is simply not sustainable. But then equally, if we want a unified country, well then we're going to have to face up to that reality and say how we, so I agree with that, we're going to have to face up to that reality. How do we address a scenario where so many people are employed in the public sector in the north of Ireland? How do we facilitate transition? And that's why I speak about actually setting out a pathway to achieve that.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Paddy Meath Kenny, Councillor. I suppose what a lot of people might know, I've just over half my adult life in Northern Ireland. So I college in Belfast, and lived not too far away from where my granny was, lived in Falls Road. And many of the benefits there was my college was for higher spec, my health care, I could walk to the doctor for free. There was a lot of benefits. Now all the southern politicians here, we always say we want to unite Ireland and we want it tomorrow and all of that. But I'm not as good a politician as yourselves. I like direct answers and direct questions. So Northern Ireland at the moment, in many ways, is a failed economy. It's subsidised by between 10 and 11 billion. That's 14 billion euro. If they joined in with the South tomorrow, we need to find 14 billion euro. So I'd like to know where would the cuts be coming. I know you're saying our parties will do reports and things, but straight off, where would you think we would do that? Then in Northern Ireland, there's so many people in the public sector. So that would be mass unemployment again. Where would you see the cuts coming? And then my second question is to John. And I know you would be opposed to the idea of United Ireland, but I would like to know under what circumstances do you think it could happen? Thank you. Only two questions.
Can I just come in the cost there? Graham, just on the cost issue, right, first, oftentimes this point is used to close down the debate. It's not 10 billion, it's not 14 billion, and the truth of the matter is, nobody actually knows for sure, because there's absolutely no measurement currently happening with regards to the income and expenditure in the north of Ireland. What we do know is about, we reckon it's about 2.7 billion euros of subvention every year from Britain. There's billions of euros at the moment that would go, that's part of the North's expenditure, that actually goes into things like Whitehall, into British Defence, into Trident, all of these things, into the whole British government. There's billions of euros that is set aside for what's called depreciation of stock within Britain. Corporation taxes that are paid in the north of Ireland, for example, are not measured as income in the north, they're measured as income in London. So that's not used as part of the process. But as I said there earlier, dysfunction within an economy is not an excuse for inertia. Dysfunction within the economy is a reason to fix the issue. And the public sector workforce is scored against how small the private sector is. So you don't necessarily have to improve your stats with regards to the public sector by shedding thousands of jobs. What you need to do is you need to create a far stronger private sector economy. And that will be done by, obviously, by what Kurt Hubner, the economist, has said, by the development of the All-Ireland economy. But it will also depend on the policies that will be put into place in making sure that you would have that growth. And given the level of foreign direct investment the south gets compared to the north, you would imagine if that was equalised across the north, you would have similar benefits in FDI in the north as well. So I think it's one of the big objectives that we could do is to finally get the British and the Irish to identify the data sets to find out exactly how much is the income and expenditure of the north, and then we can have a real discussion on that.
Yeah, Paddy, just to follow on from that point as well, I don't think it is as black and white of you saying where do you make the cuts when you don't equally look at the shared benefits by having a unified economy as well. And in terms of the fact that on issues like expenditure on defence, on the contributions of that state to the overall British Army as well, to the overall British defence, and you have to look at all those in terms of aspects and the mutual benefits by having a shared economy as well and economies of scale. So I think when you have a proper report, you might say, oh, parties go off and do reports, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point of having an informed debate. And if we go and do that, we're then in a better position to actually tackle the issue.
I suppose a couple of points round the Patter used a line that if Britain leaves the single market and the customs union, Ireland would be stuffed. At that point, the question would naturally come back, well, why would we want to join? At that point, because you would be taking us out of, and Patter talked about this, about the population in over 6 million. If we join in unionism and say 20% of it, currently we are part, and Shane talked about it is the UK is a political and economic union in full. It's probably what the Eurozone in Europe should be. We do fiscal transfers of money from the stronger parts to the less well-off parts of the UK. The UK as a whole has been too London and the southeast of England dominated, and that's why the whole Northern Powerhouse idea of building up regional economies. So why would we want to come out of a market of 65 million people to join one of 4 million people? You know, that's when there are no trade barriers. Our biggest barrier is actually the Irish Sea. You know, and that.
But it would rejoin a wider European
you have
market.
You have the same problem, but whatever the trade deal. Look, I didn't vote for Brexit, but even on the referendum, you know, this idea that England and Wales are dragging Northern Ireland and Scotland out. Look, it was a democratic vote that won. Every vote counts in a referendum. It's not like, say, a general election sometimes where you vote for something and doesn't get, or the fact that Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump by a couple of million votes in a popular vote. You know, Donald Trump is still the President of the United States. He's not the President of the states that voted for him. You know, that doesn't mean he can't go to New York and California because they didn't vote for him. He won the election. You know, you still, what was the constituency down here that didn't vote for equal marriage with Leitrim and Roscommon? You still are going to have equal marriage in Roscommon. You know, that's the way democracy works. I know, so once you did that, there's no evidence of Northern Ireland politicians wanting to make difficult decisions. If you think about scaling down the public sector in Northern Ireland, we were, during the Stormont House Agreement, we were offered 700 million of additional borrowing to scale down the public sector to use, and the payback was going to be in about 4 years or 4.5 years. But payback, we couldn't even do that. We only ended up using about the half of it. And when I challenged that committee, when I was still in the Assembly, Martin O'Muller, who went on to become Finance Committee, was pleased, or Finance Minister, was pleased that we didn't achieve all of that reduction of 20,000 in the public sector. So there's no evidence that we have the ability to do this. And I come back to that point about Patrick saying about fixing the economy. You don't fix it by crushing the institutions in Northern Ireland. I have to say that. You don't fix it by crushing the institutions. You need to get them back up and working. And we need to get into a much more normal politics of debate about real issues and tax and spend and how we actually do that, because there's no evidence that effectively Stormont at the minute does tend to just be about distributing out money, and if there's not enough, blaming Tories. So what would I like a United Ireland to look like? For me, the health service rate at the point of need, I think, is a huge thing. I've often said, I got criticised one time for tweeting that the union's safe despite unionism, not because of it. And what I meant by that is sometimes actually the union's safe because of things that we cherish, like the BBC and the NHS. And that's why, you know, it's not only at times unionists you have to persuade, it's actually many people who in their heart would maybe describe themselves as nationalists, but in their head, in their pocket, they're not there. And that's you know, so not even people like me, and you can maybe write me off and say, well, he's not likely ever to vote for United Ireland, but you're not, you know, there's no evidence to say you're even winning the argument in that what might be described as soft nationalism. A United Ireland, I would say as well, it is unlikely, if unionism is 20% of an all-Ireland republic, it is unlikely to be some sort of left-wing, you know, utopia, because I don't know, has Ireland ever really elected a left-wing government, or is there some debate about that? And if you add in 20% Northern Unionists, for example, if the 2011 Dáil had been elected, and you'd say 55 TDs in Northern Ireland, the most likely government, this will shock somebody, would have been probably Fine Gael, Ulster Unionist, Democratic Unionist, because they would have the numbers to do the government. Not exactly a left-wing paradise for those that want that. I mean, I would have been perfectly fine But that's, I think, what people need to be realistic about, and sometimes they don't know, rewrite the Constitution. That's actually what people vote for. And I always sense when I come down here that people have many other issues and they wish us all well in the north and keep on doing the good work, but it's not really that high up your agenda.
I like to see Arlene just Taoiseach. I like to see Arlene as Taoiseach.
She would want to change the joint t-shirt.
So thank you to add to that, I think again, the questions you asked are actually part of the discussion that I would think we have to have if we're going to achieve United Ireland. And it's not just to do with left or right or nationalism or unionists and politics. It's about capacity habits of living and having a health service. You know, I have friends in Derry, some of my best friends, and they say they'd rather have a health service that Derry has than come to Ireland. If a friend is on social welfare, they'd say, well, we'll welcome them as they come to Ireland, they come from the south, so they don't deal with that. I slag my friend and say this is part of the problem. But the question will be, if he's on social welfare, where are you better off living? Because the rates are very different. If you pay tax a lot earlier here, a higher rate of tax on the income in Ireland, and in Southern Ireland than you pay if you're in Northern Ireland. And they're genuine questions you have to have. Now our agencies, when it comes to an all-Ireland energy market, when it comes to job creation, when it comes to even sharing our health services, we're making a lot of progress on that across the border. And again, it's this line on the map we're talking about. I think even back in Collins' time, we probably thought it wouldn't be sustainable and it wouldn't be a matter of time before we'd all be one. I think he actually could have thought that. I think he's probably right thinking that, because we didn't think it's about it. And it's not sustainable, because it's been subsidised about 9 or 10 billion from the West Minister. But what I would say is Brexit will change a lot of that. And due to the cost of doing business, I mean, 30,000 cars a day need running all and across the border. You know, what's going to happen there in the future? We don't know the full outcome of Brexit yet, but it will make it a lot more economical to have a unified Ireland in the future. But again, I'm not convinced everybody will want to vote for that, no matter what side you are, unionists and nationalists, because you compare even security. If you're on the streets, say you're on the streets of Derry tonight, socialising, versus the streets of Navan, and look at the presence of security on the street, where do you feel safer? And that's nothing to do with the history of that, or what, that's to do with just there's extra security people available to manage the streets, people feeling more secure. So it's a discussion around services and where we're going with this, and how do we then win over people and their hearts and minds by equalising our services over time. How are we going to manage that? How do we pay for that? And the discussion we're having at the moment is the National Planning Framework being driven by my department, which is Ireland 2040. And a major part of that discussion is with our colleagues who are part of Northern Ireland. And we want to develop an all-Ireland, but we want to plan for an all-Ireland economy and job creation and houses. We know that we want to plan for a population that at the moment, I think we're all together at 6.6 million, but it's going to go to 8 million, then 9 million. We know we need another 500,000 houses, another 500,000 jobs over the next 20 years. But we want to plan that. So that's why we have one of our major meetings around Ireland 2040 in Derry to work with our colleagues. And that's how we plan for United Ireland over time, by working and developing relationships across all our departments, all our services, and that's how we eventually reach common ground in a practical way. And then people might be willing to vote for it with a majority of them more than one, because they actually might want it and would like it and want to be part of it. They'll always have their views, be a nationalist or be a unionist, but they might feel, yes, it's a good place for them and their families to be part of a united Ireland. And that's how I think we can achieve it in a better way. It'll be a sustainable one that everyone's happy to be part of. That's what I like to see.
Just briefly, sometimes when you talk about these issues, you can get bogged down very quickly on things. But in 1916, in this town, Union Jack flew over the town hall, and it had flown there for about probably 500-600 years. And for that generation in 1916, they must have seen completely immovable. They must have said to themselves, "How in the name of God would we get, freedom and independence for ourselves? This is the biggest empire the planet has ever seen. Nobody has overthrown the British Empire anywhere in those areas outside of the United States." So, and remember that particular generation was one of the poorest and weakest generations that Ireland had ever seen. It was a generation just after the famine. The famine had cleared about 3 million people over about 20-30 years out of the whole island of Ireland through death or emigration. So these people must have been on their knees. And yet, they said, And of course, they must ask the question, well, how do we do this? Or, are we going to be worse off if we do this? Is it going to be bad for us if we do this? And, like, you know, is it going to cost our children if we do this? Well, they said we have an objective, a just objective. An objective that's logical, that if you determine your own future, you will do a better job of it than if somebody else is determining your future. So if the people of Belfast are ratifying and determining their own future, they'll do a better job than the people who are doing in London. That's my view. And as a result of that idea of self-determination is the best way for people to ensure that they optimize their lives and their children's lives. So that particular generation, that downtrodden, on their knees generation, did something that was truly remarkable, something that we celebrated last year. And I think when we look at all the difficulties and the minutiae of the problems that would be associated with unity, yes, we have to do that. But we've got to keep in mind the idea that we can do extraordinary things as this particular generation. We can fix the problems that are facing us in this particular issue.
I have 3 hands up. Can I just ask you, if you just give your question, is that all right? If you don't mind, and then I get the lads to answer them. We take the 3 questions, is that okay? And then we get the answers, is that okay? Because it reminds me an awful lot of we're talking about the famine, and one of the races of peoples that were incredibly good to the earth during the famine, and we were as one, and that was the Choctaw Indians. They were one of the 5 tribes that were moved out of Florida. They were sent to Oklahoma, and they were used to living in the swamps. They were used to being in the sea and so on. Then they were moved to this land where there was lush grass and everything else, and they couldn't go. But they collected an enormous amount of money and they sent it here to help the Irish. And they called it the Trail of Tears, and there has been tears on every side. And I think, you know, when Patatark in 1916 and in 1917 was the first time that suddenly those people who were involved got involved in the political system with a by-election with all Roscommon. By the way, my father was the director of election sort. And I'm not saying because he was, but he was, the Joe McGuinness election. And suddenly people realised that they could get involved in determining it in a different way. Through politics, through democracy and everything else. A better nation for ourselves. And this is where we propose. We never want to lose sight of it, and I'm not lecturing. But I'm going to take the 3 questions if you don't mind, and then we wrap it up from there. Is that okay? Because it's great. Thank you so much.